And we're back. Welcome, everybody. A little bit of a short break there. I'm here once again. Vaudible's Primetime Tuesdays #2 continues. We're on to the winner's final. Again, I am Squidd. I don't know how you could possibly have forgotten that in the last 5 minutes, but I am joined now by Mystic. Welcome on in, my friend. And you were mentioning a bit of an interesting story. You actually competed in this tournament today
Yes.
before being knocked out and joining us here.
So thank you for having me on, and thank you, Vodible, for hosting the tournament. I did participate in the tournament. You can go find me at the bottom of the bracket here, out on losers round 2.
Yes.
We are in We Rig This, the team of pure TOs, me, Kuyachi, and Obi. To which I would like to explain, Obi is from EU, and we were put on 2 West games today, where Obi had, I think, 160 to 180 ping, and I had around, I think one of the games like 100 to 120 ping myself. But it was just fun. We were here to goof off, have a good time, and I definitely did. So I got off the game, hit high challenger out of frustration, and now I'm ready to cast.
Hey, well, I mean, in fairness, wouldn't you rather hit high challenger and then, also not have to sit here through the hours-long bracket than, well, yeah, sit through the hours-long bracket.
Dinner.
Yeah, go eat dinner, do literally anything else. Maybe watch some Vaudible's Primetime Tuesdays. Wink, wink. All right, anyway. We're getting into Trio Abusers and SuRpLu5 Esports here for the winner final. So, automatic, yep. Puffy's in the bathroom. We're going to take a look at the bracket instead of jumping right into that one. But Trio Abusers obviously come in here through the upper side, completes 1-0 and then a 2-0 sweep against the Bounty Hunters in the winner semifinal, who did also lose out to Core Overflow on the bottom side. That honestly is kind of a match that I would have liked to see, because obviously on Core Overflow you got Elo Heaven, Negaverse, and Int Overflow, which are some names that you should probably be familiar with if you are an Omega Strikers fan. But Mystic, I want you to tell me a little bit about what you're expecting for this game. Trio Abusers, I think their name is that way for a reason, with some of the top players you could possibly expect to see on the game coming up here.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. So Trio Abusers name just comes from early ladder time. The top 3 players at that time being Vaughn, Bells, and YouAlreadyLose. Were simply like, two out of 3 were usually duo, and they were like 90+% win rate, all 3 of them, miles and miles of LP ahead of each other, or ahead of everyone else. And then meanwhile, SuRpLu5 Esports is, I want to say primarily solo, but I know for the fact that Joker is pure solo, and I think Puffy is a majority, if not all solo. But yeah, some fun little tidbits. We're going straight into the draft here.
That we are. We're on the, I would say, most controversial of the maps now in the rotation. A 10 City is on offer here for game number 1 of this best of 3 trio. Because you can kind of see what we're going for in the pre-pick phase with no ban.
So this is interesting.
This is a gentleman's agreement.
There is a gentleman's agreement that I will bring up here. So it was mentioned between YouAlreadyLose and Barcode that if both teams were to face off against each other, they would handshake, play Dubu goalie, each of them.
I was talking about the no ban pick with the Rasmus on the other side, though. I was kind of questioning. But Dubu goalie, but they didn't. But they didn't. What is this?
Oh, we were baited. I have written evidence of this agreement.
This is a violation of competitive integrity.
There's only one Dubu here.
Well, I suppose in fairness, it is the heavily favored team in this series. They did see the Kai pick first. I mean, it's not terribly often, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not terribly often that you'll see high-level players opt to pick Kai as a forward as opposed to goalie. And yeah, these Awakenings, we got Glass Cannon.
We got Glass Cannon and Big Fish. Glass Cannon is definitely such a really big pickup here for the goalies, just with how huge Atten City is. But immediately, Puffy with the shotgun, the left-click, right-click combo is simply too powerful.
I feel like with the Estelle Drakkar combo on the attacking side here for SuRpLu5 Esports, that's going to be a lot of zone control. Of course, you do have Bells on Juliet alongside Vaughn on Drakkar, so if they do get the upper hand on one of the opposing strikers, things could go south very quickly. And speaking of, they're just stuffing the net immediately. And, well, there's goal number 1 very back the other way. This is a 10 city, folks.
This is going fast. And take a look at the positioning of YouAlreadyLose. This man is in their goal zone. So the new tech of YouAlreadyLose, or I should say of Dubu, is, and Vaughn was explaining this to me last night, we're going on skates Dubu. He is going fast, and he is there to be aggressive, walking up, zoning off, either threatening kills. You do not play him like Atlas at all. You want to be in the enemy face, and you can see it right here with how far he's walking up. He is punished for it, though. Oh, but the reaction time, getting the core flip to clear it out up top, and Vaughn's able to get it through past the Joker, but it's staying on their side, and there's the first kill. Bell's picking it up, at least making some extra room for trio abusers.
Just getting in there with the core flip, coming out from YouAlreadyLose earlier on, and then from Vaughn to just stuff it right into the shield barrier. They do have 1 still left to play here. Bell's gonna have a bit of trouble trying to get this one away from the opponents, and they do, but they put it up on the top side. Maybe a questionable play, but barcode, you know, it's just mind games. It's just mind games. I'm just gonna tag it up to that. We'll
yeah,
continue.
I think that was a bit of a misclick or a misplay from Bells. He was trying to time the Juliet dash punch alongside the core flip because you can get an instant core hit, which is nearly unreactable, but just mistimed it.
Or we're just going to attack that one up to a skill issue. The only time I'll ever be able to say that on a top player. And there goes Vaughn. This is going to be a little bit challenging, but PuffyFPS not able to get that one underneath of YouAlreadyLose. Again, the top-rated player. So you talk about Dubu Tex. What in the world's that bounce? How can you get so unlucky as the Joker? They can't quite snipe the bottom side a second time now. They use all of the tools at their disposal, and it's just not good enough. Somehow, YouAlreadyLose is making this low-tier goalie seem like one of the best in the game. How is this happening?
This is some phenomenal goalie and just overall defense from YouAlreadyLose. Dubu's popping off. This man has momentum boots and he's got glass cannon. He is moving quick. That man is not big in the slightest. He is fast, slick, and he is defending that goal with all his heart.
I don't know if you can get much more glass cannon than this. And like you mentioned, the momentum boots, YouAlreadyLose. You talked a little bit about the positioning being very, very aggressive earlier on, and it's pretty easy to see why. You can get pretty much halfway across the map in no time flat with the build that they've got going on, and we're only on set 1. So I'm excited to see if we see stacks on stacks. Bells takes one off the map, tries to fake up high as alongside the core flip. It's not going to be good enough, but still with the man advantage, there's not a whole lot you can do, and the cross-up is good for goal number 2.
And yeah, that was a great angle from Bells. He is just really good at getting these Juliet, like almost like break your ankles, not know where he's gonna send it, just a light touch, and it always goes perfectly to the corners. But watch here of where YouAlreadyLose is walking up, right? Immediately round start, walks up, puts down the ultimate. Because he has that barrier behind him, he can play Dubu so aggressively, and now he gets to like walk back a little bit and just like do whatever he wants, honestly.
This seems like bullying at this point. Easy dunk there for Vaughn, and I say easy right through 2 enemy strikers, even with the core flip. That's not really something that you see too often. Sony salutes in the chat, ladies and gents, as YouAlreadyLose will pick up the MVP here for the trio abusers, taking set 1. 1 goal against, but it didn't exactly seem emphatic. They're going to go for a stagger swagger on the Dubu. Even just a little bit more movement speed. I would have liked to see the Spark of Agi just to see how fast he could go, but you know, I'll take that. I'll take Stagger Swagger.
Yeah, the Stagger Swagger here is more of a denial. If he wanted to go, like, I guess, best in slot for Dubu, he would have taken that Spark. And overall, really, really powerful set of awakenings for trio abusers. Drakkar getting heavy impact. It's such an easy thing to pop, just hitting 2 people or 2 things with your shotgun. Whether it's the core plus 1 person or 2 people is super straightforward, meaning he'll have that shotgun advantage over Puffy for the most part, but Puffy simply does not care. He just walked up straight up to Vaughn and got it right past him.
Very true, but we can already see that shotgun, as you mentioned, with the heavy impact coming in with the cooldown refunds. Vaughn pretty much just being able to walk up, and somehow, again, YouAlreadyLose against a Drakkar. As Dubu, that's a very tough situation to play into with the potential of the shotgun dunk. They will eventually get dunked here, though. The Joker is able to punch it on through. But still, YouAlreadyLose somehow seems to be taking a losing matchup and winning with it. It's just ridiculous, and I guess this is what you would expect from the #1 player on the ladder.
Yeah, so Dubu's pretty underrated right now. One interesting thing was Odyssey told us in kind of like the testing group that Dubu is one of the highest win rate goalies in kind of like the mid or lower elos. And even though he doesn't see that much popularity in higher elo, he's not bad at all. I think it's mostly just a preference or style of goalie, him being a melee goalie and not being as good as Dubu in lockdown. But you know, here we're seeing a little bit of the fallacies of Dubu. When he doesn't have his cooldowns and he's not able to lock down a zone, he's pretty vulnerable. He doesn't have the same kind of utilities or tools that Atlas has for that full-on defense hunker down. And man, we're starting off this round so quickly with a kill from SuRpLu5 Esports. It's looking like a completely different round compared to before.
I'm here for it. Down with the Kings. SuRpLu5 Esports, they've got the new org buff. This is it. This is the end for trio abusers. The last you'll ever see them in tournament. They're all going to uninstall the game after this, and of course I'm lying because there goes Estelle off the bottom, and surely they're just taking this all in stride. They've been in this position surely many, many times before, and there is Bells with S-tier Juliet receiving the assist from Vaughn. It's a pretty easy pickup after that KO. And, you know, going back to what we were saying earlier about Dubu potentially not having that mobility that they necessarily would have wanted. I mean, taking Stagger Swagger in the Awakening draft, I certainly don't dislike it as a denial option. You know, obviously you have a Juliet on your team alongside a Drakkar being able to support with a lot of damage. So it is good to keep that away from your opposition. Plus, it also means that they're not going to be able to bully you completely out of net if they do decide to try to swing it with more Awakening drafts further down the line. And we see Bells picking up a KO there. And it looks like everything is starting to fall into place here for trio abusers.
Yeah, and you actually made a really good point there. If the Dubu is getting hit, the momentum boots and the glass cannon turn off, but the Stagger Swagger will kick up a bit. So it's almost like evening out and making his movement speed a little bit more consistent. So it does have that benefit. But take a look at Bells and Vaughn, the amount of pressure they're putting on, and whenever they're able to get onto that enemy side, YouAlreadyLose can just walk up and just be a third forward. And it makes it that much harder to defend.
Well, truly. Not only that, I mean, becoming a third forward, but it frees up Vaughn and Bells to start playing a little bit more of the brawler archetype with their strikers as well, which is very easy to do, especially with Vaughn having the core flip up, you know, Bells being able to get elusive if they really need to, but, you know, actually they're not going to come into play, I should say. And here you just see they're stuffing it. They throw down the tofu wall and then they just keep it up there in the corner. It frees up YouAlreadyLose because there's no way the core is going to be getting out of there with all three of them to control the zone. They've got a little bit more brawl potential, plus the core flip now available here for Bells. And you can see how they push every single little advantage they have. They create a winning situation and then they attempt to capitalize upon it. It's honestly a miracle that SuRpLu5 has been able to defend this for this long, but it's still a little bit challenging for trio abusers on the back end at the very least. We'll see if SuRpLu5 can somehow bring this one back. It will be the primary fire there from Kai. That keeps it up for only a moment. They're killed immediately, and Bells throws it in. That's set number 2.
Set number 2 going to trio abusers, but it was way closer of a round this time. Let's see if the Awakenings from this draft can make a big difference. So we see Primetime up. Dubu has to take that. Even if he wants to take something else, he cannot let this Estelle have Primetime. It's way too powerful. Most likely the Estelle will take build difference to deny from Juliet. Juliet here, he can go whatever he wants. Hotshot is the infinite, so we might see everyone in the Casco Hotshot or a Chrono Boost pick up from one of the Drakkars. But I think it's going to be... Oh, actually aerials for the longer projectiles.
Yeah, I would not necessarily have been terribly surprised to see aerials for Estelle as well. I don't remember if they actually have the dash enhancement already. It can be quite helpful with mobility, but we don't really see that being a massive part of the play here. So I do agree that the heavy impact is probably going to be a good quality deny there against the enemy Juliet. They'll get the shield barrier down here first. They can certainly use an advantage to push here, and they will find it. It looks like YouAlreadyLose just not able to get it off that top corner angle there outside the net, and Puffy capitalized. Yeah,
one thing I'm noticing is kind of whoever loses the barrier first is at such a massive disadvantage because, and this really revolves around YouAlreadyLose on this Dubu, because if trio abusers get that barrier while they have their own barrier up, YouAlreadyLose can just walk up to their side. But the moment you have your own goal barrier open, you have to hang back, right? And you cannot offer that presence that is kind of allowing so many of these goals.
Ooh, Bells carries Puffy off the bottom there. Barcode, I might add, you know, had a couple of quality moments here on this volley as the defense. Joker actually going to get involved as well with the Estelle Blink. Keep that one out. They've got the core flip available, and they will burn to buy just a little bit of time. Vaughn now struggling. That's a wonderful denial, though. You can see YouAlreadyLose saw the invis come out and immediately tossed out. They have Primetime, so you might as well toss out that log to help defend your teammate if they do go down eventually. But you can see how much pressure was alleviated as a result. They're able to hold on to this midfield, at least for now. Again, throwing out the log to try and gain some advantage on the neutral, but it's not good enough. The tofu wall certainly doomed them to an early grave, not coming out just fast enough.
Always unfortunate. The Dubu ultimate is one of, if not the most buggiest abilities when it comes to like kind of how it hits the core and then forms the wall around it.
Yeah.
And sometimes if like you have to just throw it out preemptively, if you do it reactionary, oh my goodness, Vaughn is gone. PuffyFPS is kind of showing like I'm the better Jakar main. This man took Jakar all the way to Omega by himself, and he's saying, hey, try to match me.
Wow, I'm at a loss for words. SuRpLu5, they've got series number 3 in a massive turnaround. You did mention it, you know, Vaughn, I believe, getting picked off those couple of times, that certainly did not help. But even that being the case, we did see trio abusers concede their shield barrier rather early on a couple of those ones. Orb Dance are going to be huge, plus the invis here for PuffyFPS. Lots of potential for big plays with Drekar. Spark of Resilience coming out for Juliet to stack with the Spark of Focus, so Bell's going to become a little bit more deadly. That missile propulsion denied from Kai, and simultaneously going to provide a little bit of extra ranging on that log for Dubu.
That is 3 sparks for Bells. We are at the point, I believe two sparks is already the breakpoint for getting like even or plus value from the sparks. The 3rd spark is already plus. If you can land that final one, I'm not sure if it already, no, the agility already appeared in there. So this is as much as he's going to get.
I was thinking the same exact thing. If Bell's got Spark of Agi, it's pretty much game over. But,
and it's unfortunate because that's like over Spark of Resilience, the agility is the one that you really want. But the 3 sparks might be enough. Regardless though, Vaughn is taking a beating from Puffy, and he has the Adrenaline Rush proc. And it's so fast. He's able to run across the entire vertical side of the map, and then just book it and score it.
And remember, this is on top of the invis and the orb dancer that they have now here on 10 City, where orbs are more frequent spawns. So Puffy is starting to look like a massive threat, where Bells, you know, we were just talking about how much potential they have as a brawler now, especially with all of the sparks. They've got a wonderful build going for them. But Puffy on the other side, they don't need all these fancy schmancy buffs with the sparks. They just need lots of movement speed and that adrenaline rush to boot for a little bit of extra cooldown. And I do believe we were talking earlier about having heavy impact with the shotgun blasts. So yeah, just things going very well. I believe they have heavy impact at the very least.
I think Vaughn is the one with heavy impact. I'm not.
Yeah, Puffy does not have heavy impact. But oh yeah, that's why we were talking about Vaughn had the advantage with the shotgun blast on the heavy impact.
But it looks like right now Puffy is lower, but for the most part, Vaughn is actually the one who's been taking quite a beating in the Jakar 1v1. Bells, though, able to capitalize off the core flip from Vaughn and the kind of the barrage save from Barcode. With that down, there's not really much anti-stuff tools Kai has after that. So just a very quick hit, able to rebound, get it in.
Yeah, sorry, we're kind of laying off the play-by-play a little bit because we're just getting so invested in the strategy and the thinking, the calculations, except minus the numbers, because numbers are dumb. Let's be honest.
Numbers are dumb. It's all about feel.
Yeah, exactly. That's a real thing, by the way. If you feel like you do more damage, but the numbers say you don't, it doesn't matter.
It's simply exactly.
We did see Vaughn actually quite low at the beginning of this volley, but they have recovered since then. They get very close to the edge there with potential for the Omega Strike from Barcode. In fact, they almost got it, but the core took that hit instead. Trio abusers. We do see them tied here as we kind of get our bearings back, but they're down the shield barrier. Will they be able to hold it off?
SuRpLu5 is definitely in the advantage right now while they have their own barrier. YouAlreadyLose cannot walk up, and at the moment, one thing I've been noticing quite a bit is the Jakar Estelle are able to get much more value than this Juliet as long as they are simply running away from Bells. And what a stuff! Gets the core flip out and then stuffs it on top of that. Just shoot the shotgun at the right time and it'll go in. He hits both YouAlreadyLose and the core. Absolutely nothing you can do about it. It was just, he read the timing. Shotgun
go burr. That's all you gotta say about it. And there's already the shield barrier down. YouAlreadyLose getting stuffed. They're upfield and they get stuffed
what a
second
quick
time.
round.
SuRpLu5. Oh my God! I was joking when I said it's the time dead now of trio abusers. What is happening here?
I really think they're not only are they scaling, but the comp difference right now is really showing. Trio abusers must get the gold barrier first. That is their win condition. If they do not get it first, they are at such a massive disadvantage. They don't have that same comeback power. While SuRpLu5, on the other hand, they have two ranged characters between Jakar and Estelle, and they can just poke at YouAlreadyLose and the gold barrier. YouAlreadyLose has to hang so far back, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the second orb for Puffy, right? He has Ponders, and now he has Dancing, and they share the same stack, so he only needs 4 more.
Already. Yeah, you would think that once you pick up that second awakening, you would still need to stack it up. Nope, already on 6
Whether it's
stacks.
intended or not, this is how it works, so it really has more value if you already have that first one. Oh, but they are walking up.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Talk about the shield barrier advantage, and this is a 10 city, really. You know, having that second shield barrier can at least alleviate some of that pressure, because if they get it on the bottom side, they usually cannot rotate so quickly onto the top. But that time around, they just get the one, and suddenly it's game over. I think Puffy just really needs to come online with the orbs now, because that's 2 drafts in a row where they've taken something that, you know, scales with orbs. And that's a great play from Joker to get it around YouAlreadyLose. We see both shield barriers now down. This is just such a volatile map. I feel like there's so much that can happen here with great individual plays and use of awakenings, and then you can also just have like a random one-off because there's only 1 shield barrier on a 10 city.
Exactly. The moment Trio Abusers got SuRpLu5's gold barrier, YouAlreadyLose walked up, he lost his, and then he immediately had to walk back. And now he has to sit so far back. I mean, YouAlreadyLose on Duba has to sit so far back. Meanwhile, Puffy is simply waiting for these orbs to spawn so he can kick it into his final form, hit the 10 orbs. I think he's either at 10 now or at 9. Definitely has to be 10 now. He's zooming.
Cruising. This, of course, ignoring the fact that Puffy does still have Adrenaline Rush. We haven't really seen KOs. It looked like Vaughn may have just gotten a little bit, I guess, complacent. Oh my God, what a stop YouAlreadyLose. How in the world do you read that? And a great core flip from barcode.
Oh my goodness.
A core flip from
catches
Bell.
it back.
What is this? They're on match point now.
And you know what's crazy is that barcode read it. He reacted to it in time and shot the barrage, but the core just went between the bullets.
You're kidding. I'm going to have to watch that on replay. Still.
Yeah, the barcode was already shooting the barrage. And it simply just happened to go between the bullets. Oh. And here we go. Even though they're down the barrier, Bells is able to capitalize on Puffy, get the KO, which also resets all of his stacks, by the way. He's back down to 0. They have the gold barrier now, and they're up a man with Joker pretty low. They could probably take this time to maybe KO Joker. They actually don't have enough time now with how much aggression is going on. But take a look at Puffy. He's back down to nothing.
Yeah, that stinger from Vaughn as well is doing a lot of damage. Barcode just makes it in time. Oh my goodness. Bells. Oh, it gets denied from the ultimate. Core flip comes now. Now it gets stuffed on the line. Trio abusers have game 1. A 10 city. Ladies and gents, say what you want about a 10 city. Don't say that it's not exciting for games, though, because that was an emphatic performance on both sides. Great effort, great counter plays. Vaughn, I still feel like the highlight for this one, though. Vaughn being able to go from, hey, I just got KO'd twice in the same volley, to becoming more of a midfield presence and being able to control, just really damage control. Let's be honest with ourselves, because if Vaughn kept getting KO'd, it would have been trio abusers at the disadvantage. YouAlreadyLose started to rein in a couple of those defensive errors. We did see a stray one here or there, but as a Dubu defender, I mean, what a performance. I mean, everybody on the field well and truly leaving it out there.
Yeah, it really looked like the main difference in that final set compared to that one, or compared to the 2 before, was Vaughn playing his life, right? He was the one who was constantly getting KO'd, and the moment he was able to stay on, all of a sudden, it was enough to keep them going.
I'm loving the chat here. Is this the Dubu from Sony Micropatch video? Because he's huge. I absolutely love it. Barcode currently in the find out stage. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the commentary here. I can't wait to see what we got for game 2. I'm wondering if YouAlreadyLose is going to stay on Dubu. Because as you mentioned, Mystic, it's fairly obvious that Dubu is not really an objectively bad goalie. You know, a lot of people put him in lower tier. I personally would. When I play goalie, I play Atlas. So that should tell you all you really need to know about me. But yeah, Dubu certainly did not look weak.
Yeah, I truly think
Vodible, you're an Atlas main. Get the heck out of of here. You can't call me basic. God.
I really do think it comes down to the play style, right? People are simply not playing Dubu the way to capitalize on his kit. His kit is in zone denial, not for hunkering down. He doesn't have the Cosmic Expanse and the primary to push out and anti-stuff. For the most part, it is walk up, throw out your projectiles, and just block a zone off. And what works best with him are these movement speed abilities, or movement speed awakenings. But here we are going into game number 2, already in the draft. This time we get to see the perspective of SuRpLu5 Esports. They'll be on the left side at the time.
Currently, that's certainly not going to play havoc for our prod team, by the way, who have SuRpLu5 on the right-hand side for the last match.
I believe, I don't know what the hotkey is, but there's a way you can flip it in-game. Hopefully Vodible knows.
Wait, there is?
What is, yes, you can flip the perspective in-game by hitting some hotkey. Maybe it's like F twice or something. It's something.
W developers for including something like that. That's really cool. Are we going to see barcode go for Dubu now? And is this to agree to go back with the GA? Or is it because they actually want to play Dubu? That's the real question. PuffyFPS still on Drakkar by the looks of things. They haven't finalized the draft yet. There we go.
And there it is.
PuffyFPS is on Drakkar. Dubu back in the mix on both sides, and I am hyped about that. Rasmus just getting buffed in this last patch as well. I would care to say somewhat significantly, I didn't see the damage numbers, but I did get a couple of games in, and that pendulum swing seems to hurt a lot more.
Yeah, Rasmus is a pretty much key, or if not, there you go. We see the flip, but Rasmus is super powerful on Imi's app, but he wasn't seeing too much play everywhere else. Although he wasn't bad. Whoa! Immediately we get a kill on Vaughn. Vaughn is being the center of attention from SuRpLu5. He's being targeted nonstop. And Bells and YouAlreadyLose have to hold us down until he gets back. Thankfully, only one barrier down, and they're able to kind of get back into things. But Vaughn is level 1. So let's see if that level disadvantage is going to play into this point at all.
I am curious as well if that is part of their strategy. You know, it does usually feel like, at least in my lobbies, you just kind of KO whoever you can get your hands on, realistically speaking. But Drakkar does represent a rather sizable nuisance in the midfield for, you know, both teams at this point in time. And we do see Astra being taken off the field. Speaking of nuisances in the mid, Astra can be quite annoying to deal with in their own right. So I do respect that pick off there. YouAlreadyLose getting so involved. We have seen this one before. They do burn their core flip, but they sacrifice a shield there because they lose the strike war in the end. Joker with the dash, the pass up to Puffy, but they can't make the one-timer happen. I love the vision. We saw this in their last series. They couldn't quite put it together, though. They'll have a chance to try to put this one away regardless into OT, still with one barrier.
And now that we have both Dubus on display, let's see how barcode kind of matches YouAlreadyLose, because YouAlreadyLose is familiar with the tech. Vaughn has been speaking the piece. Oh my goodness, Bell using the newly buffed pendulum swing to just eliminate Joker. Doesn't even let me finish my train of thought. And what an angle though. Man down, Puffy uses the core flip perfectly in that bottom pocket.
One word for that one, and that word is damn. Nice shot, Puffy. It can be a little bit challenging, you know, as crazy as it is, considering you could realistically just point and click at the bottom side of the net. It can be quite challenging to snipe those. That's an interesting interaction. We see two tofu walls against each other. It won't go the way of trio abusers in the end. Puffy using the in-base to sneak up onto the top side, and they'll pick up number 2 now. Oh, that's a beautiful R, though, I believe, from Bells.
The death... Wait, death and something, death, who knows what it's called. The word death is somewhere in that ultimate, but
it's the hook, it's the fish hook.
Exactly.
It's the fish hook.
But Bells is one of the best Rasmuses in North America. So whenever he's not playing Juliet, usually this is his go-to character, and he typically tends to favor Rasmus on certain maps over Juliet. So he is able to hold it down. Like, you can see him putting on so much pressure. He is the one who's killing Joker typically, and he's right about to get his core flip. Let's see if he can turn this into a barrier or two.
The trio abusers could really use this as well. And ooh, it's just barely good enough to get it away. YouAlreadyLose does have to use the core flip, but count on him. Seems to be one of the highest quality goalies that I've ever seen. Crazy how that works, but we'll see. They still have to go through 2 enemy shield bearers, and speaking on that point, SuRpLu5 has been doing a phenomenal job here in the neutral. to keep this core under control. 2 for wall is not good enough to keep that one away, but again, YouAlreadyLose is completely unfazed by that fact. Joker denied the dash strike combo. They're going to keep it in the zone. Somehow the timings are still working out for YouAlreadyLose, but eventually it will go the other way. Bell's trying to get involved with a death touch there right at the end. Shout out to Vaughn for telling us the ability name, by the way. We see the abilities on offer here, and YouAlreadyLose actually going for big fish instead of Castellas. You know, I suppose I can see that. If you're good enough with your log.
The Castellas, not only is it the duration, you get a 35% duration, but you also get the stun duration on the somersault.
Ah, okay.
So the stun duration increases as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And that similarly applies to Vice as well. But wow, take a look at Bells. Bells is so good at confirming these kills. The one thing you have to keep in mind is the way Rasmus kills is very different than every other brawler. Typically, when you kill with everyone else, it is the person is in between the wall and you, but Rasmus can do it the other way around. He can yank you while he's close to the wall.
Well, I might have been mistaken, but it even looked to me like it was a combo play between Vaughn hitting PuffyFPS down with probably a shotgun, and then Bell's immediately using the pendulum swing. It's kind of hard to catch everything in the heat of the action, but yeah, that death touch can also be used in that way. You are completely right. I have noticed that. I've tried to do that a couple of times and failed egregiously. We're into OT now, and that's 2 shield barriers down to the side of Trio Abusers. It doesn't quite sneak in there. Again, YouAlreadyLose. I mean, this is basically... You know how in racing they tell you to maximize the track. That's what YouAlreadyLose does. They wait until the very last second to touch that core away. We lose Bells. Now, they get escorted off the side, and it's going to be a bit of a challenge in defense. We do see the core flip, and it will be enough. Denies the stun, and 3-0 to SuRpLu5 Esports.
What a
great
dominant first round. Yeah. I also like to point out the way Joker handled that core flip. He flipped the core before the stun came out, pretty much eliminating Dubu's one and only anti-stuff tool. And then from there, he uses his dash to secure that kill rather than a strike, which is like super important.
YouAlreadyLose gets the glass cannon again. Is this gonna be a repeat of the last game? Please?
It might be. Glass cannon is the best in slot pickup for this new style of Dubu. It's Dubu on ice. Okay, he will be skating, and he is fabulous. This might be the turnaround that they need.
I mean, it was a pretty good draft, though. If we go to the Awakenings, you can see Puffy picking up aerials for Drakar. Quite quality, you know, getting out a little bit of an invis buff as well.
Oh my goodness, what is happening in that bottom?
You're going to have to come to an agreement on how to use the tofu walls, guys. I mean, it's just basically timeout at that point. Oh my goodness. Was that vision on Joker's part, or did they just happen to be in the right spot?
He saw it. He walked in between Bells and Vaughn. I believe he was just trying to stand where he could intercept a pass, and he happened to be at the right place at the right time. And that's kind of what makes these players so good, is they know where they need to be.
Game sense. That's all you can really tack it up to, I suppose. But still, denying that death touch from Bells. I mean, the ability to make solo plays as Rasmus is what makes him a very unique striker, I would say, with that R. They lose 2 shield bearers now on the side of Trio Abusers. You guys, I mean, you're supposed to be the top 3 players on the ladder, but right now, they sure having some trouble showing it. It's just a little bit of outplays here and there on the side of SuRpLu5. And speaking of, there's Puffy. All 3 players getting involved on that play per the scoreboard, and that's 1-0.
Honestly, I have to give so much props to Puffy. I don't know if it's very easy to see it, but Puffy is the key player of this team right now. He is the one who's tacking on all this damage to Vaughn. He is making the plays in the midfield. He's winning the strike wars over Vaughn or over Bells, allowing and enabling Joker to walk up, get these barriers, get these points. And he's just there applying pressure with Drakar. So if you're wondering why SuRpLu5 is so dominant right now, it's because of where Puffy is standing at nearly all times.
I believe you mentioned as well, Puffy, a true innovator, if you will, in the Drakar meta. Yes, we see, what was that? Bell's getting carried off again. How? We saw this in the last game, right? It was Vaughn, though, in the last game, who was being bullied out. This time, Bells is really having a tough time staying on the pitch. Or as I would like to put forward, by the way, the strike surface, because the game is called Core Strike. I rest my case. I will not be accepting questions at this time. But anyway, escorted off the strike surface on the right side. I wonder if they're just having difficulty staying alive because of their aggressive positioning, or if it's just a capitalization on the side of SuRpLu5 Esports. And oh boy, That one crossed it in a bit of a rough spot. We're going to have a strike war on the bottom side. We're into OT. Joker does have a core flip available. They go for the 1-2 with the core flip. It's not going to be good enough. Almost escorted off the map there is Joker. They get knocked off the bottom. They're in a tough spot here between Vaughn and YouAlreadyLose, but it looks like they're still trying to play in space. They're still trying to control a little bit of the neutral here for their team, and they don't quite get involved. I believe they actually missed their core strike on that one, and it's just going to be an easy goal for Bells. I don't know. Did you see that? Did Joker actually just missed that by that much in order to keep that control, or am I seeing things?
I'm honestly not sure. That whole point went a little too fast. But one thing that happened was they had the opportunity to score with Joker's core flip, and they missed that opportunity. Or I should, you know, props to YouAlreadyLose for defending it really well. And the moment that core flip was gone, the point pretty much turned around.
Unfortunate times.
There's so much aggression coming out from Joker and Puffy. Their hitboxes on their moves are so big that they can kind of just throw them out, and you'll hit multiple people, tack on this extra damage. They're also utilizing the middle pretty well, either using it to their advantage. They're saying, okay, let's just blow it up because we trust that we can play better on an open midfield. Which you pretty much see that anytime that black hole in the center comes up, it's gone immediately. It looks like neither team wants to play with it up. They don't like the mechanics of it, so they'll just get rid of it because they're challenging each other on an open field better.
Well, it also represents a huge X factor. You know, for the goalies, it makes it a lot easier to predict where the core is going to go. And then for the players, you don't want to get caught, you know, just a little bit, you know, maybe not paying attention, being a little bit low on stagger, and then being knocked off the edge just randomly. And suddenly your team is at a major disadvantage, especially now with the gravity well being gone. Barcode gonna sit on that one, but oh boy, Bells not satisfied with playing the patient game. They'll just walk up and they'll take number 2.
That was dangerous because I think Barcode was just trying to wait out the death touch on the bottom, but YouAlreadyLose decided to walk up and guard that angle right behind him. So it completely denied that zone to pass, and Barcode was forced to hit up, which Belts clearly saw was going to happen, predicted it, scored it on him.
Oh boy. And here we go again.
How did that make it through?
I don't know.
Okay,
Vaughn's down.
Little bit of a funniness going on here. It definitely shouldn't have went through YouAlreadyLose's wall, but it did, and both barriers are gone. They are a man up, not anymore. Trading back and forth their core flips. Puffy's able to get one barrier. Might be able to get the second one with Joker's help, but no. Bells being able to utilize the movement speed and that extra instant cast light hit to secure the goal and the round.
This is moving. You know, I pride myself on being able to see things as they happen, but this is moving too fast for me. I don't know. We gotta get slow-mo replays in like time between goals or something. Please, Odyssey, help me. You are my only hope. We see timeless creator.
Give us a 3-second replay so we can know what's happening.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying in Rocket League. You know, I come from Rocket League. We get like 20 seconds between goals. We can sit down and analyze stuff. Here we're just like, oh man, we're right back into the play. Stinger here. For, oh my goodness, I can't remember their name.
So Barcode picks up Stinger here because if it goes on Drakar, whichever Drakar picks up Stinger, it's over for the other team. He must take Stinger there to deny it.
Because it's so easy, right? I mean, if you have two proxy or shotgun, as Vaughn immediately dies. But you got 2 proxy or shotgun. It deals max HP damage, 12% max HP damage, if I'm not mistaken, no matter. Right? You just gotta hit him like a little bit. You just gotta give him a little love tap, just pinch him on the arm, and that's 12% max HP damage over 2.5 seconds.
Exactly.
Utterly devastating. So I do see that deny, and then they have their own Drakar take the heavy impact. So it's really just getting your pick of the litter.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Trio Abusers won that draft because it forced Barcode to take Stinger, which he doesn't want to take that. While YouAlreadyLose is able to pick up Timeless Creator, which is an absolutely amazing pickup for Dubu, getting size and 70% duration. On the creation itself, but it might hinder him there a little bit, being he kind of got stuck behind his own wall. Able to successfully get it out though without any issues to their own barriers. But Puffy hitting that top one, trying to get the McDouble over there, but not able to secure both.
That needs to become a term, by the way. Hashtag sponsor us McDonald's. But we move into OT here for SuRpLu5 Esports. They could really. Wait, was it sponsored for CECC? Now we have to.
It was CECC. The tournament itself was sponsored by McDonald's.
There you go. We absolutely need that. But getting back into the action, Vaughn had a bit of a dunk there against the enemy Dubu. And I would like to point out, we saw YouAreadyLose fall victim to one of the classic Dubu blunders earlier on. That's a beautiful self-play there from Bells, but still a vision from Barcode. We commended Barcode for their phenomenal defending in the last series that we saw them in, and it seems like that effort has continued here somehow. Like I said, the vision for these players is just on another level. They somehow still managed to get that one away, even against Erasmus Stun. It's just on the goal line and will go through. Silliness, that's all I can say.
And take a look at the rotations happening from Trio Abusers. They are known for this. This is something that Vaughn is a goalie himself. On dog-like spikes, he is their team's goalie. He's playing midfield right now, but that's not his role anymore. So he'll gladly swap back with YouAlreadyLose when he's low on health and rotate their cooldowns, essentially making it like a non-stop barrage of attacks coming out. Oh, but great, getting it behind the back, getting both barriers, and it might happen exactly the same for both teams here. The goals are open completely on both sides. Vaughn opting to break that middle just to get that little bit of an X factor, like you said before, gone. Bells using that death touch, really nice, but it's not able to secure the goal for them. YouAlreadyLose, again, he's walking up. He's trading with Vaughn, trying to core flip in as their goal. And one thing I'm noticing right now is Joker doesn't seem to have too much of a presence. It seems like he is the one kind of falling off a little bit, and Bells on the Brawler v Brawler matchup is kind of taking the lead.
I do agree, and that's a bit of a ooh, what in the... I think we saw maybe a little bit of a stun there against Barcode. They tried to use the core flip to pick up the core there, but Vaughn got it through. That's actually critical as well, Barcode losing the core flip.
Yeah,
but,
on what could be the final point of this round.
Yeah, I do agree, though. Joker, we saw in the last series, I'd like to go back to that again, where Joker was playing Asher, I believe, in set 1, and it felt like they were absolutely devastating in the midfield. But right now,
no, he was Estelle.
Well, in set 1 of the last series?
Oh, the last series? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, my memory's not that bad. Well, it is. So oh my God! Got a little bit too aggressive there. Did YouAlreadyLose? Now they're down their goalie. And oh no, that might have been a bit of a blunder by Barcode. Almost 2. They had a wonderful opportunity, but they seem to have let it go by the wayside.
Oh, and they
There's
trade
now
back.
Barcode gone
One goalie
PuffyFPS.
comes back up, and the other goalie is down.
Puffy's so low as well in the tofu wall. This is getting a bit oppressive. Puffy getting bullied out. Vaughn's trying to make something happen, and there he goes. Now Joker and Barcode are going to have to do it in the 2v3. Bell's trying to move up with this one, dribbling it off the side a couple of times. We're into OT as of right now. And that tofu wall almost snuck through. They'll get the shield. No, they won't get it back. PuffyFPS has to dunk it through. How is this going back and forth so many times? Bell's trying to go with a depth touch into the core flip potentially, but they do not get it. I don't even know. What's going on here?
It's crazy. It's back and forth immediately getting back. Puffy is just winning everything. He comes back from his life, walks up, is able to secure that bottom barrier, and then just now, once he got that pass from Joker, just shows us how good Sugar Shotgun is.
Man, this has got to be unhealthy for me, I tell you.
Joker with a kill though, he's putting his value in.
We were talking about that. Joker having a little bit of a lackluster presence, so getting that KO early on, plus the shield barrier, there might be a re-entry into this set here for SuRpLu5.
And take a look at Bells right now. Might have to pop his core flip early, and he does.
Oh.
It does manage to get them one barrier here, but it's still a little bit of an advantage for SuRpLu5. If they walk up and take out Bells, in the top side, Joker with a kill. I'm pretty sure he just uses his ultimate there, forces Vaughn off the map. Meanwhile, Bells does manage to recover. Joker is now low, or kind of just stuck up there on the top side.
Things are going wacky over here. Barcode not going to be able to defend that one. That's 2 shield barriers down. We're on set point here, so this is getting a little bit challenging, especially with the tofu wall. They're going to throw their own. They do have one core flip avail along Puffy, and Joker's is well on the way. Almost getting that shield barrier. They will get it in the end. The core flip is burned there for Puffy. They don't have that option anymore. Into OT. Gravity Well is now up. Could cause some problems. Bell's not able to make the 1-2 play on their own. They're going to try for a pass. Puffy gets into the zone, but it's not quite good enough. Joker now with the core flip available. What kind of play can they make? It's not the 1-2.
What a great patience.
Oh,
absolutely phenomenal there. Waiting, seeing that YouAlreadyLose takes a step down. He saw Vaughn shoot out the shotgun, knowing that there was a cooldown before any other action can come up, and use that timing perfectly, tying up this third round here, 2-2.
Oh my goodness, who is it gonna be? This is also quite critical for Awakening Draft as well. Whichever team can take this, they will probably have sizable advantage. You know, first pick, go figure, is quite helpful. There goes Vaughn. Bells, he's able to push it forward, almost even getting 2 shield barriers. They might be able to push this forward just a little bit more. That death touch, though, could not combo from YouAlreadyLose. Bells is having a tough go of it. 2 down, but only for a moment. Vaughn is back into the mix immediately. Barcode with a core flip available. They use it for the pass up to Joker. Great vision there, and getting 1 shield barrier down. Can they make it 2 with the advantage?
Not enough yet, but Puffy getting hit by that center Atlas ult. Oh, he does manage to live, though. He has to walk back here. He won't be able to kind of participate in this brawl that's happening down here on the bottom right side, but he's almost back to that unstaggered point. And it really depends on if Puffy dies here, it could really mean the end of this whole round. He has to play his life. He must run around and keep himself above that staggered point. And there it is. He gets his health back enough, able to get that final barrier. And I believe Puffy's the one with the aerials. That was a really long shotgun shot to get that final barrier from trio abusers. They have the advantage right now. Joker has the core flip, using it a little preemptively. I don't really like that. And now let's see if Vaughn can use his to secure it. But no, Vaughn does never get the opportunity at all. PuffyFPS timing it perfectly, knowing how long the stun duration on Dubu stun is, and just shotgunning immediately after.
And as first draft here, if we see something big come up here, there's built different Orb Dancer and Orb Pounder plus Primetime. Monumental Stagger Swagger also on offer. There's loads of good stuff here. And surely you go for Primetime, and there it is. Extra shotgun rounds, plus the heavy impact. We do see built different here, so a little bit more size. Orb Dancer plus a speed boost, critical agility for Dubu.
This is an interesting draft here, because we have a lot of new awakenings here that people are kind of not sure what's the value of everything yet. So choosing to go Orb Dancer over Ponder for Barcode, I don't know if this was more denial if he wanted himself, because if I'm him in an isolated scenario, I think Ponder will be better just getting constant creations up all the time. But I think this might end up being a denial, and look at how much pressure that is. He just walked up and threw everything. It doesn't matter that he lost a barrier. If they can get this out and clear it, they have the advantage, even with the man down.
Tofu Walls playing some havoc here with the clearance potential from Puffy. They do go quite low on Stagger, but it looks like they're going to survive to fight another day, picking up the orb in the back as well, I believe. Getting that one out. Starting to push forward. Joker, we talked about the presence for Joker not quite being as effective as it was before. I believe Puffy was responsible for that KO, but still, you can see how much neutral control there is for this team, freeing up each other to make plays all by themselves. It's not frequent that we see this against the trio abusers, but here it seems to be coming out in force. They almost punch it through, but YouAlreadyLose again with the positioning, maximizing the area in the net. And being able to get it away. The ultimate is there.
Oh my god.
And Joker with the core flip now available. Oh my god.
Oh my god. We are just trading Jakars back and forth, but Joker has the advantage here. Uses the core flip early, trying to KO Bells. Bells predicts it, uses the elusive himself, winning that interaction completely. But we have all the Jakars back up on the field. Joker going super low. Barcode forced to use that core flip early. Let's see if Joker can use his cooldowns effectively before he potentially goes out here. He's trying to stay in a position where if he gets that pass, he can try to make a score off of it. But now with all cooldowns down, he has to kind of walk back, get the stagger up a little bit. Hopefully people just ignore him, but no, Bell sees exactly what the game plan is there and gets him out before he's able to heal up. And final barrier goes down with the man up. Can they score it? And yes, they can.
It feels like such an easy turnaround there for Bells and Vaughn to be able to put that from the bottom corner straight into the net. That's not exactly as easy as it looks, but they make it happen. Capitalize on the advantage, as you mentioned, seeing Joker a little bit low on Stagger string, barely too close to the back there, and turning him in.
Oh my goodness. Immediate brutality from Puffy, using every single ability he has in his kit, but confirming that KO on Bells at the end of the day. They must turn this into advantage, though, because it looks like Bells is back up, and even with 2 down, they managed to get their own barrier and get another KO.
Yeah, it's not looking good here. SuRpLu5 Esports starting to have a struggle, and that's going to be number 2.
And Barcode goes flying up to the top side, misinterpreting where that core was going to go, and immediately we're at 2-0. But I'm pretty sure that last round started off with SuRpLu5 down 2 points as well. So it's not over yet, and they're still up the round.
Chaos. That's all I can really say about that. Puffy going to nicely get even 2 shield barriers alongside Joker. They do have 1 core flip here with Barcode. If they find the courage to move up, this could make a huge difference. 2 tofu walls on the top side. How many times do we see that? Vaughn and TheJoker both being shown off the top of the screen. That's a wonderful use of the death touch by Bells, even with the gravity well getting back in the zone and the core flip being burned by barcode, not able to take control of the core. We're starting to re-neutralize here. Bells with the staggered swagger now is an absolute speed. Demon Puffy trying to stuff this one in, and they will, just barely getting up there with the invis. I don't know, Mystic.
Yeah, Puffy just does such a good job at the net. He's able to play, even though this midfield character that's more meant for core control, he's so powerful at taking barriers and scoring if you can get in the right position. And he started this round with the core flip up. Oh no, but they're down nearly 2. He has to burn it early just to make sure that second barrier doesn't go as well. So let's see. YouAlreadyLose is walking up. He knows he has the advantage on barrier. He is running forward into 3 people, uses everything in his kit, and manages to get that final barrier.
As far as the opposing 6 there for YouAlreadyLose, my goodness, that man, that player, he just has no fear whatsoever when it comes to defending. Yeah, I suppose it is, what is it, the best offense, or excuse me, the best defense is a good offense.
And that's
the philosophy.
Dubu on ice, making such a presence. Bells using that death touch to secure a kill on Puffy. The Jakar down, which is the key player of SuRpLu5 right now. Bells stuck between both tofu walls, not sure what to do, and honestly not looking too good for SuRpLu5 there. That is tied rounds, and if they lose this next one, they're down to losers.
We'll see. Trio Abuser's going to have first pick of the litter here. Twin drive on offer. Alongside stacks on stacks, a little bit of extra speed. Adrenaline rush, missile prop. Lots of, I would say there's a couple of good things, of course, here. It will be stacks on stacks for a little bit of extra speed. I don't see anything that's completely game-changing in this one, though. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like this is still going to be more of a case of player skill. Player skill being able to control the midfield. Missile prop on Drakar, unstoppable for the Joker, going to give them a little bit of extra survivability in the mid, not being able to be CC'd out. And like I said, midfield control seems like it's going to be very, very important. The Joker obviously going to be using the abilities to the best of their ability. The unstoppable, I guess, just keeps them a little bit more in it. I don't know. What are you thinking, Mystic?
It's 10% damage reduction, so maybe that helps out quite a bit. Joker hasn't really died from pure like, I guess, knockback. It's always been him fully staggered, so in that case, the unstoppable isn't going to do much. But regardless, one thing that I want to point out is that the adrenaline rush, if Puffy can proc that and get a KO on either Bells or Vaughn, will probably result immediately in a kill. That adrenaline proc is so powerful. So you can kind of take a look at how Puffy's positioning himself. He sees Vaughn is low. Maybe he tries to convert this, but he doesn't look like he's pressing too much for it. Positions himself well for that pass from Joker, opening up that final barrier and the goal gates completely, and manages to get a kill on Vaughn, but it wasn't Puffy who got that, it was Joker, so no adrenaline rush proc.
You still take the advantage, though, if you can get it. Playing one player up. Barcode's got the core flip available. Puffy is going to follow in short order with their core flip. YouAlreadyLose now as well. So there is a lot going on here. I question as well, there's going to be one core flip, by the way. Make it 2. Puffy follows suit. But you can see how elusive Bells is, especially with stacks on stacks. If they can manage to stay away from Puffy, not only are they going to be able to deny the adrenaline rush, but they're going to be able to keep swagger up alongside stacks on stacks. So this really is huge. And speaking of, there goes Puffy. They're supposed to be the one grabbing the kills, and they're the one that takes the L.
Yeah, it's really the combination of the stacks on stacks plus stagger swagger, but Bells there taking out the enemy goalie. Joker doing his best to do the barcode impression here, and honestly doing a pretty good job so far.
Either time long enough for Puffy to get back in, and this looks like it's going to be a full defense. Well played for Joker, using the barrier beam, also denying the death touch there. They have the core flip, try to go down south. It's not going to work out, and Bells, Barco wants to get out to that one early. It's a good idea, and it's going to work just barely. It's still a lot of pressure here, though. Vaughn and Bells trying to push this advantage as much as they possibly can, but slowly being moved back onto their own side of the field. Joker has to take this space near the top side. Puffy also getting involved, plus the log there from Barcode. It goes down low, and Bells is able to triple it off the bottom corner and put it away. Lots of volatility there.
Yeah, Bells is so fast. Simply just having, he has chrono boost as well, which is increasing not only the duration of his just haste, but the effect as well. So when he procs that with stagger swagger while on low health with 100 stacks, he's untouchable. And we saw how that speed just translated into that first point there. So it's kind of dangerous if you don't KO Bells. Putting him to low health is is quite a disadvantage. It's rather you just ignore him at all and try to go for Vaughn here.
It's the same idea we saw from the last game, but again, for PuffyFPS, you know, Bells has actually been a reasonably quality target on the other side of the field. So if you're trying to get that adrenaline rush block, I mean, it almost feels like you don't want to attack him, but at the same time, you really need to, because with 100 stacks, with stacks on stacks, it's going to be perpetually all over the field and just ruining your chances at gaining that control that you absolutely need. As we see the second shield barrier going down here for SuRpLu5 Esports, they're going to try to make a little bit of a pushback, but again, look at how fast Bells is. You mentioned the chrono boost earlier. They'll actually get one on the dunk here. They could really use this goal number 1 right about now, but there it is, the death touch from Bells! Such lethal positioning and vision for number 2.
Yeah, Rasmus is such a high skill ceiling character. Out of all the brawlers, he probably has the highest ceiling or just skill expression that you can get on him, purely because of the plays with Death Touch. And one thing that I want to point out is Bells is purposely walking into this this middle Atlas black hole. This is the second time he's done it, because it puts him in Stagger Swagger max speed range, and he's just zooming and immediately. But right now we do have the advantage from SuRpLu5. They do KO Vaughn. Bells is doing his best to hold it down, and honestly, with the speed he has, it's not too difficult for him. And look at that, able to get that final barrier, and most likely this point, but no, it just barely touches the top of the goal before it spreads out completely. And they capitalize on the man up though. Barcode looking really low, and Vaughn simply walks up and KOs him. Joker on the goalie V2. Can he hold it down until Puffy comes back up? Yes, he can. Barcode is up next. They just need another 3 seconds.
Ooh. Barcode is going to spawn right there as well. The core flip is not good enough, and they managed to win the Strike War somehow. We're about to go into OT. We could really use a reset here on the side of SuRpLu5 Esports, but they're not going to have a second chance. Puffy pushes it through with a Dreadcard dunk, and they are going to have to take a sigh of relief right here. Joker not only managed to defend, but found that little bit of a gap. The folly of man on the Trio Abuser's side. They got that little bit of red vision. The eyes rolled back in the head, and they tried to walk forward and gain that goal. They ended up sacrificing one on the other side, so now they're going to have to reset from the neutral. I still want to see Bells go down here. You did mention, of course, Puffy is the one that loses that battle. But Bells, they're so fast. You mentioned them walking into the gravity well. Not only does that give them the advantage of Stagger Swagger, but it also lets them control the gravity well and the ramifications it has on the game, because it can throw enemy strikers away. They know that the core is going to be moved around by that. It's very difficult for SuRpLu5 to try to react to. They've got both shield barriers down now on the Trio Abuser side. They have no core flips to work with, but here comes Vaughn trying for the Dreadcard dunk. No, the pass down to Bells, and you can see just a little bit of panic on the SuRpLu5 side. They continue to somehow make these plays, but now with the Joker being gone, it's up to Puffy and Barcode to see if they can keep this one out. Bells is trying to dance around with it, and they will get Dubu off the field. Not in time for the Tofu wall. It's somehow PuffyFPS holds down the backboard. They got Joker now. The core flip comes through. The KO. Joker's gonna do it alone, and they can't. Trio Abusers with the 2-0 in the winner final. What an emphatic performance. The absolute impressive offense here at the end, Mystic. What can you do if you're playing against that?
Really good performance from SuRpLu5 Esports, but just not enough to take down the kings of the leaderboard. That's what it is. And these 3 solo queue or duo queue or trio abusing players, showing that they are able to lock down these characters best. And yeah, like, they were able to just put out at the end of it. It really came down to Bells, in my opinion. Bells being the key player of that set. Take a look at the damage here. Both Bells and Vaughn doing 56 or 55k damage. And one thing to keep in mind is Bells, for the majority of the time, is using his Death Touch to kind of reposition the core. He's not using his ultimate on the enemies unless it's a guaranteed kill. So he's like one ability down in terms of damage. That just shows you how much damage is coming out from this character. It looks like that buff on the primary was really helping out. He got so many confirms through it.
Yeah. No, I was just about to mention that. I mean, we saw the Rasmus buff. Did he really need it, though? That's the question. 15 KOs on a map that's not Amy's app, I might mention. And I believe that was only 4 sets. So imagine if we went to 5 sets, for instance. How many more kills would Bells have had? But and then, of course, this is considering the fact that Bells was using Stacks on Stacks and Stagger
Yep.
Swagger as two of their drafts. So they weren't even picking up any like super major aggression awakenings. They were just fast. They were around the field, and as you mentioned, they were primarily using the Death Touch to make plays with the core, which provides the added benefit, if you will, of kind of turning it into a bit of a mix-up tool. I believe I saw that once or twice where they hooked somebody from the opposite side of the map. They basically went straight from the top all the way down to just
Yep.
underneath of where Bells was, and then they finished them off with the primary fire. And it's a beautiful combo. Really, if you're looking to try and figure out how to play Rasmus a bit more aggressively, that is the player that you want to watch. As you mentioned, Mystic, I mean, Bells, so much work, so much solo potential on that one player, and that really was the difference maker. Such oppressive speed in positioning. We talked about how important it was for these teams to win the neutral. That's why you saw Asher and Drakkar being so important, especially on the top side, you know, throwing out the barrier beam, throwing out the shotgun blast as a dunk, throwing out the breakthrough to try and zone control, throwing out the tofu wall even on Dubu. And you see Bells just running around all over the place. It doesn't matter how much zone control you have, because if you throw it out, Bells is going to be there on top of it.
Exactly. Great work from trio abusers, but one thing I also would like to point out here is SuRpLu5 Esports is sitting in losers final right now, guaranteed third, and if they can manage to win that, they'll be fighting for first or second. But currently in the money right now, we have loser semi up next between Surreal Saucers and Core Overflow.